Hey, everybody. Welcome to another Bourbon and Blockchain Happy Hour. We're excited to have everybody tonight. Tonight, we're just going to talk about current events and news articles as usual, and we just want to have fun and bring you guys along with us. In the meantime, if you guys want to join the conversation or join in on live conversations, you can join the Discord. In the description, we have some information in there so that you can click on that and join our Discord and continue the conversation. So, tonight we're going to talk about some news articles, and I think that some of them are pretty fun. I think we've got some good things to discuss tonight, and I think we'll just kind of get started. So, one of our first things that we're going to talk about, I think this is, we'll just start with this one. ETH Denver. Have you guys heard about ETH Denver? Do you know about ETH Denver? Did you know about ETH Denver before this article?
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, you
I
did?
heard about it.
Yes.
We've had
So
a
I
few
have not.
within our group that actually talked about this, I believe specifically. I wonder if anybody's attended.
Yeah, I just saw from the article. It's a place where people gather to talk about weird DeFi projects. So it sounds like my kind of scene because I'm always looking for weird DeFi projects.
Yeah, it seems like, in my opinion, talking about specifically what's going on in the crypto space and how it's being handled in the United States, it seems to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like the states individually and certain cities are starting to really kind of attach themselves to crypto more. Like for example, last year, one of the big stories that was going on was how Miami was really big into crypto and that they were trying to get crypto there more often, and they were talking about onboarding tokens and things like that to be utilized in their city. And then you've got stories like this, and it seems like, in my opinion, that these cities and states are starting to be a little bit more crypto friendly than the overall government. And I think that that's something that I've been noticing. Even like states like Wyoming are trying to become more and more crypto friendly.
Yeah, we saw with Miami, we saw the mayor actually bought Bitcoin and he was promoting that.
Right.
But this ETH Denver thing, it kind of reminds me of like Austin's motto, "Keep Austin weird." It kind of has that kind of vibe to it, except they're combining DeFi with that kind of atmosphere. So it's definitely something I want to attend at some point. I just kind of want to see. It looks like it's like a laboratory of different DeFi ideas that people are just sharing with each other. So I think the more of these that pop up, the better.
I was actually looking through some of the Twitter or the Twitter comments about ETH Denver after seeing this article, and I will tell you, if I ever attended something like this, I would stick out like a sore thumb. I'm not weird enough. I'm not weird enough to get dressed up like some of these people did. Okay.
Yeah, it's almost like, a mixture of like Comic-Con, right? And, I was joking around earlier and, I didn't mean it in an offensive way. It's almost like Burning Man for nerds, right? And I say that in the funniest way because we're all so nerdy about crypto. Like, imagine talking to somebody that doesn't know anything about crypto and they talk to us, they're going to look at us like, whoa, you know way too much about crypto. So I feel like we all kind of fit into this category, and it's fun because, I think people are kind of embracing it and doing their own thing with it. But yeah, I think it's interesting. Crypto it has its own culture, right?
Yeah, it definitely would be nice to gather around like-minded people because in my circle of friends, I mean, I maybe have 4 or 5 that actually even buy crypto at all, and the ones that do just kind of buy like Bitcoin and Ethereum on Coinbase. So you go to something like this, and you probably see all these like obscure DeFi projects where people are trying to get some passive income or maybe gambling a little bit or something like that, with some crazy scheme.
Yeah, and tonight we are blessed by having a special guest, Allyson, and we're so happy to have you tonight, and it's wonderful to have you on our show to be able to share your experiences and your own stories. And I've spoke with you before in the past on your show and about your experiences, and I know that you have family members and people that you work with where you talk about crypto, and it's the complete opposite. So how do you think you would socialize in an environment where you're surrounded by people that are all crypto knowledgeable and they're nerdy about crypto just like we are?
I'd probably be really nervous for like the first day. Um, Especially if I was going by myself. I get like a little social anxiety. Um, but then, once one person starts talking to you, then you kind of just open up. If I was going with friends, it would be great. ETH Denver is actually an annual event. And Ethereum Denver has meetups. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that website, meetup.com. It's like people with the same interests can organize on this website, and there's different meetups for like thousands of different things, like hiking, going to the movies, dinner
Oh, that's
clubs,
cool.
and clearly tech things. Yeah. So Ethereum Denver has a very good reputation, and East Denver is very popular. It's yeah, one day maybe I'll go. I think actually I was really busy last week, so and this week. So I was not able to watch any of this online, but if I'm not mistaken, it was free to watch it online. Versus,
Oh, really?
some of the events you have to pay like an additional streaming ticket. Like if you can't attend them in person, they'll charge you less money than the in-person ticket. But to stream it online. But East Denver was free to stream
So,
some of the
so,
events online.
so Allison, do they have? And I don't know anything about how that's set up. Do they have like keynote speakers and bring some like prolific people in to speak to the community at these events?
Yeah. There's panels. Yes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
But this I think
we've
was extremely crowded. I saw on Twitter that they were saying people had to wait hours online to even get in. And it's winter in Denver. I'm sure it was very cold. That is
it
not
looks
fun.
like they had well over 12,000 people come, is what they're saying on their site here. So from 100 different countries, which I think is pretty cool. We've always talked about potentially doing meetups or meeting up with different groups and stuff like that. And one of the popular places to typically be brought up would be like going to Las Vegas or something like that. But maybe, just maybe, Denver might be a better option, so I don't get in trouble.
Yeah. Do people gather at this thing to learn like about degen projects? Like I'm picturing it like I don't know if you guys remember the project called Smart, which was like one of the first degen projects I ever heard of, where it was just a liquidity pool where you bought a coin called Smart and you bought AVAX, and with those you bought LP coins. You would stake the LP coins and you'd get like trillions of dollars in Smart coin, but the coin would instantly inflate and lose value. So it was basically a game where you're getting as much smart as you can, but you're trying to cash it out before inflation devalues it. I'm picturing like ETH Denver is like a bunch of like degen projects like that, or is that what it is, or is it where like people go to try to change the world with legitimate stuff?
Yeah, I think it's people go to try to change the world with legitimate stuff. I'm sure that there are degen projects that attend as well. But yeah, there's panels, there are workshops, open source meetups, parties. I'm just looking at the ETH Denver website. That's where I'm getting this information from. Project exhibition, project judging, building labs. So I think it's a place to connect with other people, listen to leaders in the space, things they're working on, what they want to try to achieve.
Yeah, absolutely. And it even says here in the article, and this is part of the reason why I talked about these crypto friendly states and cities, is governor. There was a governor there, and he was talking about how, he's part of the blockchain caucus in Congress, and that they signed the first digital related law known as the Colorado Digital Token Act, and that he also made comments that eventually you'll be able to pay for driver's license and state taxes of cryptocurrencies, and that may be an option as early as this summer, which I think is a huge step. I mean, if more and more states start to take these steps, the that's going to come from not only people, but also from our own government is going to increase dramatically. So yeah, I think this is good stuff. I think that
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think these meetups are great. You don't really hear anything crazy bad about them. It's usually just people coming together to share, bring more attention to crypto, right?
Yeah, I think this
Awesome.
is going to be one of my bucket list things to do this coming year, right? Like
Yeah.
I want to attend an event, right? I just need to find the right one. So hey, maybe we'll see Bourbon and Blockchains,
You come
in
to
the future.
Maybe we get a booth
NFT
then.
NYC.
Yep.
NFT NYC doesn't Gary V do that too?
Yeah, I'm sure he's speaking.
Yeah, that he's always
he spoke
he's going to all
last
the really
year.
big ones. All right, well, that brings us to the next article, and this one's a little bit different. So this article, we're talking about Soldier Boy, Jake Paul, Lil Yachty, and others are sued over alleged Safe Moon crypto pump and dump scheme. Now, this is a little bit different, and the reason why it's different is because, in our own space, as we invest in crypto and things like that, we are always talking about how, it's not responsible to talk about projects in certain manners, and certain influencers and people will make comments about cryptocurrencies or NFTs and things of that nature, and then, if that project goes bad, everybody has a negative sentiment towards those people. And when I think what's unique about this specific article is that it's talking about individuals who are celebrities. So now it's going way beyond an influencer and into the world of celebrity. Uh, specifically, I know that Allie, you are an expert with NFTs, so I'd like to hear your opinion on this article and kind of like what your feel is on this type of article.
I think that it was last week. Time is a strange thing in crypto and NFTs. The space moves so fast that you completely lose track of time in the real world. So please forgive me if I get this wrong. It was last week, I think, a circuit court had turned over a ruling about I think it was Bitfinex, and some people were going to be held liable for losses that investors had faced because they were pushing the coin and or were pushing that exchange in a similar situation as this with SafeMoon. People were pushing SafeMoon. They were not disclosing that they were paid to promote this token, and I think that this is just going to be in. We also had Kim Kardashian and Floyd Mayweather for ETH Max. I think that was the token, ETH Max, who are also being sued. And we're going to just continue to see more and more of these. The FTC actually has existing regulation that was created in the early 2000s, maybe, when blogging really started taking off on the internet, blogging and YouTube, when it started to get really popular, like the first influencers. They came up with some regulation that was pretty basic, actually. Just tell people that you were paid or that you received the items that you were discussing in the video or blog post in exchange for PR, in exchange for covering the items that you received to the wide audience that these content creators have. I think we're just going to see influencers and celebrities as well continue to get slammed by this. And the world is a crazy place. Like, there's a lot going on right now in the world, and there's a lot going on in the US. The FTC does not have time to come down on everyone, but they will make examples of people. And
Absolutely.
it just takes one. You upset the wrong person, and they're going to sue you. So it's a real fine line you have to walk, I think. And I think more people, and it's not just if you're paid like in crypto or if you're paid in fiat to make a video or make a tweet. It's also things like whitelist allocation, pre-sale allocation. If you received any actually, I'm on the FTC website. Financial relationships aren't limited to money. Discuss the relationship if you got anything of value to mention the project. So, I mean, a whitelist spot is valuable. Pre-sale allocation is valuable. Yeah.
Well, I think that's, partly some of the things that people have been asking for. People are asking for some sort of direction and or clarification or regulation. So for them to start enforcing some of this stuff, I think it gives us more ideas of what that direction is going to be.
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense. It's probably sensible regulation to at least make a celebrity or whoever, if they're going to show something, at least have something in place where they have to admit that they're doing it because they were paid or they received a whitelist spot or something of value. I don't want it to be like too hard because you don't want to scare celebrities out of the space either, because there could potentially be a world-changing project that nobody ever hears about, and maybe you need us to get a celebrity involved to get the word out. But I mean, I think sensible regulations would be good. On Twitter, it's a little bit more gray because you sometimes have somebody with like 20,000 followers, and you don't know whether the person is shilling the project because he thinks it's a good project, or because he got paid or got something of value to shill it. So I do think some rules might be helpful for the space.
Yeah,
The
so
rules already exist.
Okay.
I have a question for the group. Who all owns Safe Moon currently?
Well,
I do.
that's a good point. I do not.
Is that what you said, Allie? You do?
Yeah.
How long have you been holding it for?
Since I bought it, like in the spring of last year.
How long do you plan to hold it?
I think at this point I'm stuck with it forever. So
till the moon, until it hits the moon.
Hey, yeah. I'm right with you, Allie. I hate to admit it. It was one of the first things I ever got into. I actually did really well on it. I'm still holding on to a bunch currently.
Oh, nice. It was one of the first things I got into. I sold for a loss, but I didn't really blame any celebrity for it. I mean, I thought I learned a lot. I lost money in it, but I thought I learned a lot about crypto just buying it. That was the first time I used a decentralized exchange. So I kind of learned a lot just getting into it. And, you sell it for a loss and you then just evaluate, hey, why did I lose money on this? And you move on,
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I'm introducing a lot of friends and family and stuff to crypto, and all of them ask me like, hey, what should I buy? I'm like, you know what? Anything. You should buy anything that intrigues you, that you believe in, that you find interesting. Because at the end of the day, there's a learning curve that you have to go through, right? My learning curve involved SafeMoon, like probably many others. So, it's just interesting to me, SafeMoon is just one of those projects that's been around for a while. It's touched a lot of people. And Draco, you're not going to admit that you've owned it at one point in time, are you?
Oh, no. I did. I don't own it now. I bought it back in the day, and I had to get the trust wallet, right? Because I couldn't buy it and all this other stuff. So yeah, but you bring up a good point. There's like, you almost have to go through all of that, right? And for those of you that are listening in the chat, tell us, like, what was your first crypto? What was the first crypto you bought? And I'd like to hear about that. But SafeMoon wasn't my first, but I like that you brought up that you have to go through that and like be introduced to a crypto. And when you get introduced to that crypto, then you kind of go through like, like, I guess like an evolution, and you learn about it. And then whether it's positive or negative, you take something from that. And I think that's important. The other thing that you learn is where you're at, where we're all at on this panel, is that I would never take financial advice or follow what Soldier Boy, Jake Paul, or Little Yachty.
Great advice. That is financial advice. Don't follow those people.
Yeah. You can consider that one. Write that down. But yeah, so I mean, I think that it's important, and you're right. Sometimes you want to help people, and you're like, hey, everybody wants to like make money quickly. So instead of giving them advice to make money quickly, it's like, you know what, take $100 or whatever's, a lower amount for you, and just start dispersing it into projects and learn how to get in, learn how to get out, all of that stuff.
I love how the crypto space moves so fast that we're already like nostalgic for SafeMoon. It feels like we're talking about like the 1980s, when it just hasn't even been a year yet.
Yeah, that's true. No, that's true.
But yeah, if it wasn't for SafeMoon, I would have never have learned to use a decentralized wallet probably, or maybe I eventually would have, but SafeMin was like the coin you had to have. So, that's kind of what motivated me to learn how to use a decentralized exchange. So some good came out of it.
So Christine said she got into Chainlink. That's still a good project that's still running strong. And then Heath here got into Time and Klima, or Klima, whichever way it's pronounced. And yeah, I can see that. And you got in at the all-time high. Oh man,
Oh,
woo! Yeah, that's a quick learning curve, isn't it? But you know what? Yeah, I bet you've learned a lot, and you can take those things and apply them going forward into the future with your investments. So that's a good thing.
yeah.
But yeah,
What
so
was
then
your
we got,
first strike though?
my first. Well, my first was
Yeah.
I think the first crypto I ever bought was Bitcoin. Bought it because that was like on an exchange, and I think I got I think I got onto Coinbase, and it gave me extra Bitcoin if I deposited like $100. So I think that's what was my first, and then after that, I think the first actual token that like I invested in, I'm pretty sure. I'd have to come back to it. It might have been. I have to think about it. I'm pretty sure that it was an Ethereum token, but I gotta think about it. And I'll have the answer by the end of this, but I
Hey,
can't
I'm gonna
remember
throw
which one it
you.
was.
I'm gonna throw you a curveball. Russia can wait for a second. What about the token? The first token you bought that provided you passive income.
Oh, well, that's easier. The first token I bought that provided me passive income was Strong, and I still to this day
Same.
invest into Strong Blocks. So that was the first thing. But okay, so it was Stellar. Stellar was the first project I invested into, and I actually did make some money on it because it went on a little bit of a run. And then I just got, I got inflated. My ego got inflated. But yeah, my first passive income was Strong Block. How about yours?
Yeah, so mine was simply learning how to farm on I don't even know the name of it, Unity Ventures. I heard it
Mm,
on a podcast, and I was like, you know what? I'm interested. I didn't make any money, but it introduced me to the space and got me curious.
well,
Were,
that's good enough, right? What about
Yep.
you, Smokey?
were any of you guys ever on Steam, or did you ever hear of Steam It, the like crypto social media site? Like 2017, it was big.
Mm-mm.
I have
Okay,
not.
so that was my
No,
first
I
one. It
was
was
not.
called. Okay, well, there was a website, I think it still exists, called Steam It. It was kind of like a Facebook blog site where you would stake coins and you could upload other people's like blogs or whatever. And the more coins you staked, the more a like was worth. So if I had like $20 staked and Draco wrote an article, if I upvoted his article, it'd be worth like 10 cents. But if I had like $2,000 staked and I upvoted his article, it'd be worth like $2.
Hmm.
So yeah, I did a web comic with a friend. Lasted like 20 weeks. I think we made like $200 or something like that in Steam. So
Nice.
not quite passive income because there's labor involved, but it was kind of like the first time we made any income in crypto.
Very cool.
Cool. What about you, Allie?
My first crypto that I bought was Bitcoin. And then after that, I bought Ethereum. My first investment that provided passive income was Strong. And Strong, I was the first time I used Uniswap as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was
I
very
think
nervous, but it's, a learning curve.
Oh yeah, when you first are learning how to transfer things between chains and between wallets, and you're having to cut and paste, you're chewing on your fingernails until it hits the wallet, right?
yep.
now
Yeah.
it feels like second nature, but that first couple times you do it, it doesn't matter if it's $20 or $500. You're nervous.
Yeah, a lot of people ask me like what brought me on to KuCoin. So like I use KuCoin a lot for different things, and the reason why I started using KuCoin actually was because I could buy Strong on KuCoin because it was, that's where their liquidity was at the time for an exchange. So that's why I downloaded KuCoin and started using it, and that's where I bought my initial Strong. And at the time, I wasn't aware of all the inners and outs of like doing DeFi or swapping tokens. So I was actually buying Strong on there and then sending Strong back to there to swap to Ethereum because I wasn't like that good with it yet, right? And then I started to learn like there's different ways that you could swap your tokens out for cheaper gas fees and things like that. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it's always interesting. I'm sorry to throw a curveball, but I think people enjoy hearing others' journeys, and
Absolutely.
it's just interesting to hear how everybody's come to where they are today. So I think it's valuable.
Yeah, I remember my first time like sending Bitcoin from Coinbase to, I think it was like the Steam wallet I was talking about or wherever it was. And I remember I just had so much anxiety because it took like a half hour for it to get there. And I was just like, did I just lose $200 or whatever it was? I thought it was never going to get there. So I think everybody probably goes through that, when they first get into crypto.
Well, people make mistakes too and lose a lot of money swapping things incorrectly and never being able to reclaim it. So again, lesson learned. I'm not going to go into the war story, but yeah, a learning curve is all I'm going to say.
You know what though? It's important though. Like I feel like the learning curve is necessary. You got to do it because if you don't learn when you're doing smaller amounts of money, and you learn that learning curve when you're moving a lot of money, that's a bad learning curve.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Well, not to.
When you see $2,000 to $3,000 disappear on one transaction and you can't reclaim it, that's a sad day.
Oh, and it's happened. It's happened to me.
Me too.
We're not going to spend a bunch of time on this. I know everybody's aware with what's going on with Russia and all of that, but I've heard a lot of different things, not only on like Twitter and people just speaking, but the news has kind of hit on this a little bit too. And this is just an opinion piece. This is talking about crypto won't fix this for Russia. What they're commenting on, and they're saying that the worldwide interbank financial telecommunications SWIFT, which is connected to a whole bunch of banks. I think it's 11,000 banks or whatever, are all connected to that, and they're trying to disconnect that from Russia so that it would financially burden them. And people were trying to make comments that by using crypto that would help out the situation. And what this article is saying is that's not technically true. It's a lot more complicated than that. And I think that a lot of that report, what people are trying to do indirectly, is kind of fudding crypto, which is constant. If you're involved in crypto, you're aware that there's constant FUD about crypto. And I just wanted to get your guys' thoughts on, do you think that, Russia could, completely take everything and go crypto with it? Would that be an answer to this? And my opinion would be no, it wouldn't, because they're using the banking system. All of their funds and liquidity are locked up in their banks. They can't just take everything and swap it over to crypto. It's not going to work like that.
So I think where crypto could help them out is, so I don't know necessarily all the ins and outs of how sanctions work. I just know it's like the U.S. imposes sanctions on Russia. So businesses and governments, other countries aren't allowed to do business with Russia. So you could have a situation where publicly there are sanctions against Russia, but there's still some deals that are able to be done that wouldn't otherwise be able to be done because they can pay Russia in crypto. And we saw on the last pod, we talked about, Russia was, they passed some legislation to legalize Bitcoin and to make a digital ruble. So it looks like part of their plan in leading up to today's events or yesterday's events was to prepare for the sanctions, so that there might be some countries that are publicly, we're sanctioning Russia, but maybe they still want to buy oil or whatever from Russia. So even though there are sanctions on paper, maybe they do a deal with Russia under the table with crypto to circumvent the sanctions.
Yeah, I think one of the things that it says in here, they were talking about Ethereum and things like that, and a quote in here says, I think Russia's probably thinking about using Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies to evade sanctions, but on the other hand, is probably concerned about those cryptocurrencies getting too much popularity in their own country, because that would impact the way that they control their own monetary system, and it would also impact their power. So again, that's like a double-edged sword, right? If you want your country to purchase, buy, and utilize a cryptocurrency which is decentralized, that could hurt your power.
Yeah, that is an interesting. That is an interesting take on that. I mean, hey, I'm all for that part, though. I mean, if
Right,
to take
exactly.
away Russia's government's power would be a good thing for the citizens, I think, or any
Right.
country in general, not just Russia, but I'm for any country having more control over their own financial situation. So yeah, I mean, on one hand, Russia might be able to avoid some sanctions by the U.S., but in doing that, it'll improve the lives of their citizens, which is a good thing.
Hey, I have a question while we're on it. I've been keeping a close eye on the market here over the past day or so. And, when the invasion first occurred, obviously we saw a sharp downturn in the market, right? We saw Bitcoin drop to, I believe it was 34,000 or something of that nature. Now, I haven't looked, but it looks like it's rebounded by, I don't know, 7% or so. So what's the thinking around that? I mean, does anybody have any philosophies around why it's such a sharp downturn followed by such a sharp upturn following this news?
I think it's the uncertainty. The downturn is the uncertainty. I saw some charts floating around on Twitter where it was it showed the markets on the days and shortly after of various invasions, like in the past 25 years. And they were just saying in every single instance except for one, the market picked up almost immediately. There was one, and I cannot remember which one it was. It may be
I saw that same one. It was 9/11.
where it did not.
Yeah, I saw the exact same one. It was only Afghanistan after 9/11 was the only time. I think that one was the exception.
I know that's a super broad question, but it just caught me kind of off guard seeing the charts. Such a sharp downturn followed by such a sharp upturn. I know there's psychology that plays into it, but still, it kind of baffles me as far when it comes to the price action that we've seen.
I don't think anybody would know like the exact answer, right? But I think part of it is I think people thought it was going to be worse. And one of the things that I hear from, experts that do mostly when they're investing in the stock market is what they'll say is if news comes out early enough, the system will bake it in to the market for you. If you give it enough time, all of that fear and doubt and uncertainty will bake into the market. And then when the news pops, it won't be as bad as you thought it was going to be, right? So maybe this was like everybody thought it was going to go down to like $10,000. It didn't. People saw that and said, well, you know what? Maybe this isn't as bad as I thought. And they got back in. So, I mean, I don't think any of us will really, really know. But, to counter this article while we're talking about this, my beautiful wife actually just sent this to me to kind of, because she saw this today. And she said Bitcoin donations to the Ukrainian military are soaring as Russia invades. So this is the opposite end of the story, right? Oh, get out of here. So what this is saying is they're actually getting Bitcoin sent to the Ukrainian military. So on the other side. So this is, the opposite end of the spectrum of, Bitcoin is actually being used against Russia, right? So I don't know. Like, I think that's the crazy part about cryptocurrency is that it is decentralized and it can be used in so many different ways. And I think that's a good thing.
Did you see Vitalik's tweets last night?
I saw one.
Yeah. Basically, he was saying that while Ethereum is neutral, he is not. And he had some very harsh words for Putin.
Oh, really?
He did, yeah. It was in a tweet. It was in Russian, so you had to hit the translate button. He had tweeted the harsh words first, and then the follow-up tweet was that Ethereum may be neutral, but he is not, saying that he doesn't support any of these actions.
Yeah, I think I'd like to hear, what you guys think, but I think overall, we don't have to sit on this topic very long. I think we're all very aware of what's going on, but I mean, other than what we're hearing coming out of the Kremlin and out of Putin's mouth, I don't think anyone in the world is supporting this type of stuff. I mean, it's pretty much broadly being condemned as negative behavior, and in some cases to an extreme, explanation. So, I mean, I think that this is going to end up long term. I think this is going to end up being very bad for Putin and for Russia.
Yeah, and the real
I
loser in
always
all these
thi-
situations are the citizens of each of these countries. Like,
That's
Yeah,
what I was
exactly.
just going to say. Yeah.
I'm sure the Russian people are like decent people, and probably really decent people in Ukraine or Ukraine
Right.
too, and and hopefully Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is a way just to loosen the grip of these governments on their people, regardless of
Absolutely.
the country.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, they're all just regular people running around doing their thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are. Yeah. Just encourage everybody to keep them in their prayers. I saw a video of a father evacuating with his son, and
Oh, I saw it.
he was like, all I care about is protecting my son, and it kind of hit me, like
Yeah.
it's a little bigger than even what we're talking about now. There's a human element that we can't even perceive, we can't even understand right now that's going on over there.
Yeah. It's, and it hit me too. There was a video of some explosives or some bombs that were dropped by a plane right next to a residential home, and you could see it come up to the window,
Yeah.
and there's kids in the house screaming. And it's just, at the end of the day, we're all human beings, and keep everybody on both sides. Even the people that are that are doing their job, and it is what it is. There's all of these people deserve to have a chance at life, and it's unfortunate. So it is what it is, and it sucks that it's happening, but this is what's going on in the world. So I wanted to hit on it briefly. The next
I
thing.
will.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Allison.
Oh, I was just going to say that I will say that I have been impressed with a lot of the crypto community trying to self-organize and find different ways that they can help these people in the NFT community. There's a big push today to support Ukrainian artists because, I mean, we're just people tens of thousands of miles away and there isn't much that we can do. So there was a call for that. And then I've started seeing projects inside their Discords organizing like donation drives. So they have found specific charities or NGOs that have been designated by the Ukrainian government. Like if you want to help, send, these are places that that are proven worthy of the donations. And some projects are even matching donations up to a certain amount. So I thought that that was really cool.
That is really cool.
Just people trying to do whatever we can to help just the human element, knowing that these are, like you guys were just saying, these are just regular people that are collateral damage in someone's ego. I don't know what the angle is here. But they're just regular people caught in the crossfire. Yeah, it's just nice to see projects trying to do something.
Yeah, it's and I think that's what people can do. They only have so many options to help. So if you can help, and that's within your heart or in your capabilities, then absolutely you should do so. So yeah, we'll move on to the last thing that I wanted to talk about tonight. And on a much lighthearted note, it's definitely a different topic on this one, but this is more about an all crypto lifestyle. If you're going to do it, is it possible? And what are some things that you need to do? There's some pretty good points in here. I'm not going to bore everybody with this, but I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts on that. Mr. Maverick, is an all crypto lifestyle possible?
Is it possible? Yes, absolutely. Is it convenient? No, not yet. I think we're getting there, right? But I think all of us have this dream in the back of our heads to where crypto could potentially, kind of provide us that financial freedom even outside of our normal lives that wasn't possible before, right? And so like it really gets you thinking, and once you get into this crypto world and you realize the opportunities that are out there, and you start realizing that it really is possible to create financial freedom as long as you're smart, okay? Let me just say
Yeah.
that, not aping into everything. It really gets you thinking, how would I operate, right? If I say we're living off of a crypto income, how convenient would it be? How would I off ramp all that money when I wanted to utilize it? What options? And I think this article here actually talks about, the crypto debit cards and the things that are out there currently. And it kind of blows my mind every day I read something new. And I think there's a lot of avenues that maybe we're just not even cognizant of to leverage the crypto income in the outside world.
Yeah, for me, to have a full crypto lifestyle, when it comes to DeFi, I think I would want to have validator nodes. I don't quite trust all the the other kind of nodes out there. I mean, Strong's the best one. So if I were gonna go all crypto, I'd want my income to be with a Strong node, but I would want there to be validator nodes because those you actually get sustainable income based on transactions. But to have an all crypto lifestyle, I mean, you could do crypto video games on Gala. You could do a crypto debit card, crypto savings account, and pretty soon you'll be able to do crypto music with Gala Music. So yeah, we are getting to a point soon where every aspect of your life could be tied with crypto. But yeah, the biggest one is income. I think everybody's goal getting into DeFi is, can I get enough passive income to quit the 9 to 5 and to just kind of, just chill and do your hobbies and do whatever you want.
Did you see the bit in here about the 401k options when it comes to, creating kind of a retirement plan through crypto? I wasn't even aware that was possible or offered.
Yeah, they've been talking a lot about that. There's a bunch of self-directed IRAs and 401, deflectors, I guess you can call them, for IRAs. And yeah, there's a whole bunch of different companies that are doing it. And the problem with IRAs is, unless you already have a bunch of money sitting in a 401k that you can divert, you can only do, I think, $6,000 a year. So you have to start off fairly small when it's coming to a retirement plan. And remember, an IRA is a retirement plan, so it's you want to build that long term. So it's made as a long term investment. So you can't just throw $200,000 in there, day one.
There you go. We almost got everything covered then.
Yeah.
What about you, Allie? What do you think?
I think it's possible. I think it's still too difficult. It's definitely possible, but you have to go through a lot of hoops to make that your reality. There are some services that allow you to receive your paycheck in Bitcoin. So you don't even have to do the whole passive income through crypto. If you're working towards that all crypto lifestyle, you could transition into this new way of being paid to get to your goals quicker. But I think it's still, I think it's still too difficult. 5 years, though, I think a lot of people will be making huge strides towards the all crypto lifestyle.
Yeah. So two things I want to hit on. So none of these companies work with us. But one of them is I Trust Capital. You can use that for IRA retirement. And then the other one is self-directed IRA and directed IRA. Those are the three companies that I'm aware of where you can take your IRA and invest in cryptocurrencies if that's something you're interested in. But make sure you're doing a lot of research on that before you jump into it. But I think what we can all agree on is that when we got into crypto, we had a lot of questions, and it's the same questions that you'll get today if you talk to people. For example, how many of you have heard, well, why would I buy all of that digital cryptocurrency stuff? It's not real money, right? How many of you have heard that from people before? And we know that's not true. So as we learn that, we see that it's becoming more and more possible to take that and convert it into US dollars in many ways. And I think the biggest steps that we're getting for that are these crypto credit cards. For example, the Coinbase credit card and the crypto.com credit card. That kind of stuff, as it gets better and better and easier to use, I think, going forward into the digital age is going to become more and more prevalent. We're going to be using it more often. But look at the people that are younger than us, our children, or kids that are, younger than the age of 10 right now, most of them are completely digitalized. Some of them are going to school online. And, how far-fetched is it to believe that in the future they're going to be using digital currencies for everything? I don't think it's that far-fetched.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, no, I agree
think
as well.
What are the numbers
for
with Gen Zers? Sorry, you go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that I think for this transition, the changes that there was a bipartisan bill that was introduced to eliminate taxes, the capital gains taxes on small purchases made with crypto for $200 or less. That's
Ooh,
going to help a lot into transitioning people into the all crypto lifestyle.
Wow, that would be awesome.
yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. Well,
Are there, are there a lot of Gen Zers into crypto? Because I feel like I'm mostly seeing millennials in it. Are are younger people adopting it the same way we adopted like Facebook and YouTube when we were younger?
I don't know. I look at my son and he's more interested in the gym and girls than he is crypto. So I think there's a
Right.
maturity curve there,
Yeah.
So that may be the reason why. I think just like in life, we kind of go through seasons, and there comes a season in life where you look to, build a more longer term income, and so I think that's why, right? I think they're just in that season of life, the millennials. So that's why
Yep.
you see more of those. That
Yep.
will change.
I agree with that.
As
Yeah.
gamification comes around, though, honestly, and there's opportunities coming where you can, make a passive income through gaming. I think that's going to be a huge bridge for the Gen Zers.
Yeah, I agree 100% on that. I think gaming and crypto, especially, we all know that's all continuing to come together as we speak. But the bigger that gets and the more of a lifestyle that gets, where you have companies such as Facebook, which I'm not a big fan of, but they're bridging the gap between social media and metaverse, which would be like in, a digital universe, which is obviously going to involve also cryptocurrencies. I think that all of that is going to just continue to bring people on board. I think it's just a matter of time. And right now it's looked at with curiosity, and over time, I think it's just going to be an everyday thing. It's going to be an afterthought.
I agree. Hey, Heath James, he just posted something. He said, "Hey, my daughter's 20. She's interested in crypto because it'll give her a nest egg to buy a house. But to be honest, none of the passive plays really these days are a set and forget. They really require monitoring daily." And I would agree
Yeah.
with that.
Yep.
I think that would be I think that'd be something that would be difficult for a 20-year-old that's in the prime of their social life to sit back and monitor all these things that we monitor, right? I mean, you can't let it get out of hand, or else, you know what I'm saying? It can get out of hand. And I know that's something that Allyson, you deal with all the time, monitoring projects and NFT projects and passive income, all of that takes a lot of time.
It's a lot, and sometimes I'm not monitoring it because it's just too much. So recently, I've been taking that into consideration when picking projects to invest in. Um, like how actively do I need to be monitoring something? Besides just setting basic alerts and checking in on it. Do I have to be making a lot of moves? Because if that's the case, then at this point in time for me, that's probably not a good investment. Um, yeah, sometimes it's just too much. You're so right. I'm not even trading really NFTs right now because for me at work, I'm in like a really busy phase of work. So I for the same reason, I don't have time to be monitoring floors and making trades. So really just focusing on long-term moves.
Yeah, what I've noticed, kind of to what you were saying, is, I feel like it's better to focus your attention on one thing that you can be great at versus a bunch of things that you're just, average or good at. And so here in the crypto space, there's a lot of different avenues to make money, right? NFTs being one. We talk a lot about DeFi projects in general. And then there's your, TA and trading blue chips. And I mean, there's just so many different routes. So yeah, I would say if I were to give any advice to those young people out there, find one that interests you and like really just dedicate yourself to that, something that you really find compelling. If it's NFTs and collecting art and trading it and things of that nature, then dedicate your time to that and just become great at it, because there's a lot of opportunity in each one of those areas. Don't spread yourself too thin is what I'm getting at.
That's such good advice.
Absolutely. Well, I think this was a great conversation. I think it was, fairly well rounded, and it's great to have opinions from, all different sorts of angles and people, and, different walks of life. And we're all from different places in the United States, and, it's great to hear, all these different aspects of cryptocurrency and see, we typically, I think we get on the same page on things, but it's great to hear other people's opinions when they disagree, and you can have, an educated conversation and listen and learn from that person or those people. And I think that's what's important about crypto, because the minute you think you know everything, you will be humbled very quickly because you don't know everything. So, it's great to get out there and have these conversations. The best way that I suggest people get involved in those conversations is to join a group that you get along with, where there's like-minded people that are doing similar things to what you're doing and that have a positive message. So I encourage everybody to find a group like that and start listening, and then start talking. Get out there and have a conversation. Don't be silent. Make your voice heard and learn. So I appreciate all of you being here. I appreciate everybody coming here and listening to us. Mr. Maverick, Smokey, and most of all, Allie, thank you very much for joining us tonight and giving us all of your knowledge and information. And if you'd like to say some parting words, please do so.
Thank you so much for having me. I always enjoy chatting with you.
Yeah, absolutely. You're one of my favorite people to talk to, and you're so knowledgeable in the NFT space and in the crypto space in general. And it's great to hear your opinions, because even though they might not always be exactly what I think, they're always wonderful and well thought out. So thank you for that, and thank you for bringing that tonight.
Yeah, I'll second
Thank
that.
you.
It's been a great discussion tonight, y'all. I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Allie. I'm a big fan of the show on the Crypto Nerds channel with you and Corey. So it was great to talk to you tonight.
Thanks.
All right, everybody.
Thank
Well,
you.
have a
We'll
good
be
night.
back
Stay
on
safe
Monday.
out there. Oh, you're coming back on Monday? Great. That's good to hear. We've missed you.
Yeah, Corey was at an NFT conference this week, so we
Perfect.
took the week off. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, everybody have a good night. Stay safe and be kind to each other. And we'll see you again on Tuesday. And Allyson will see you guys on Monday. So have a good night.
Have a good
Night,
night.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.